Hi Rajni, good afternoon.
Hello, Vineeta ma'am. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely great. Thank you so much for asking.
Okay, good to hear this. So, first of all, welcome to Fluenzio. I'm really excited
Thank
to
you.
have this conversation with you.
Likewise, I'm also looking forward to the conversation.
I have been following your journey for quite a few months, especially since the time we connected last. And your English journey from zero to now helping thousands, in fact, millions of people now is really, really inspiring. And probably that is the most important reason I wanted to connect with you because I want people to learn from your journey. Like, I want to know everything in detail from you about your learnings, about your experience. How was it? So, it would be great if you introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me over your YouTube channel. It's like first time I'm here in front of your audience, so it's my honor. When it comes to my introduction, my name is Rajni. I come from Rajasthan, Shri Ganganagar, which is
Mm-hmm,
on the border of Punjab. And if I talk about my qualification, I have done my graduation in Korean language,
mm-hmm,
nothing related to English, just luckily landed here. And
mm-hmm.
currently, I run a YouTube channel, so I call myself a YouTuber and I provide paid sessions to beginners and to intermediates. So, yes, I'm working independently like a freelancer. I'm not associated with any platform or any company. Yes, so I work independently and apart from this, if I talk about my hobbies and interest, then I mostly almost always I prefer to spend my spare time with books are my true friends, so this is what I admire and like the most. And apart from this, I connect to people over Zoom sessions where I learn a lot from them, and I love connecting to people from diverse background and culture. That's how I think this journey is helping me to groom my personality and grow in life. Yeah, that's all about me.
Okay, so we have one thing in common. No, we have multiple things in common. Reading books, you can see. I'm also
Mm.
passionate about reading and also about our school we discussed, I think. Or maybe I'm aware about your journey a little bit. So our schooling and now we are working in same domain. So we have so many things in common.
That's great.
Okay, so you mentioned you did your graduation in Korean language, right?
Mm.
But what about before that? I want you to talk about your journey before your college. Like, how was it? Especially when you didn't know English at all. And then your first encounter, your first realization about the language. How was it? And how did you feel about it?
That's really a question, thought-provoking question, and that takes me back my in my school days. I remember my school days when I wasn't able to read chapters properly. It was always difficult for me, and whenever there was an English period, and I used to pray that the teacher should not ask me to stand up and read the chapter. That was my condition. Um, so back then it was really terrific, challenging, and difficult for me, and unfortunate for me that I wasn't able to select like the fields which I wanted to pursue my career in. Like
Okay.
I wanted to go in science. I wanted to pick science for in my 11th and 12th, but because of English I had to quit the idea because I wasn't able
Then,
to understand anything.
then what
Yeah,
did you pick?
I picked arts, which I end up quitting again after 12th because I didn't like that was not my cup of tea at all. And because of English, I wasn't able to pick science or mathematics at all. And then this thought came to my mind to try something new, try something different because I wasn't enjoy learning arts like anything geography, history, and economics, not at all. So it was always difficult, and because of English, that was always a barrier in my career, and it left me confused. So yes, it was difficult.
You said because of English, you couldn't pick science, right? What was that
Yeah.
reason you picked art? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Because English, because the science subjects like biology, chemistry, and physics, they were in English.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wasn't able to read even, so it was difficult to understand the everything nuances of every subject because we need to learn, read, study a lot in our board in our 12th standard. So it was kind of a fear that if I fail, then
Mhm.
It would be like difficult for me, and that is why, like, because the subjects were in English, then that is why I didn't pick that. I wasn't able to it.
Okay. So in your school, it was what was the medium, your school medium?
It was called English medium because the subjects were in English, but they were taught in Hindi.
Now we know
But
that,
when it
right?
comes to when it comes to write examinations, we need to write in English. And as you can understand, if I was not able to read,
Mm-hmm.
understand, that it's difficult to even write. And during 11th and 12th, the subject English was, when I picked arts, the subject English was in English. So English, somehow I mugged up all the answers. I remember still vividly in my 12th standard, I mugged up, I memorized by heart all the answers. And the day I gave the final examination, the board exam of the 12th standard, I just decided to not ever touch English in life.
Okay. Why am I feeling I'm talking to my old version? Similar
Maybe
things
it
happened with me.
uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I decided, that I would never touch English ever, because I just mugged up everything. I didn't understand even my in my 12th grade too.
Okay, so you decided not to learn or not to touch English. Then why? Why did you decide? Again, see, now you are working in the same field, English related field. So when
Hmm.
did this happen? When you started learning English, what was the reason, major reason, and what inspired you?
That's really a nice, great question. Um, See, I hated the language the way it was taught, and the fear it created in me during school, and the embarrassing moments that every time I was asked to stand up and read and I wasn't able to read. Because of that, I hated the language. But
Okay.
whenever I heard my physics teacher speaking in English, like everybody used to speak in Hindi, but every time when she got angry, she shouted in English.
It's
and from
obvious.
there i from there I loved, like, I used to wait when she will shout. And I liked the way she, spoke everything in English then. So I just liked it, but I didn't know how to master it, the methods and all. I knew English as a subject only. Other than that, I didn't know anything. But luckily, the
Mm-hmm.
fortunate thing that happened to me was like the curiosity to explore different domains, which helped me to pick Korean later in my graduation. So that
Okay.
time when you start learning any language from basic, so from basic I started learning Korean
Mm-hmm.
with alphabets. So when it came to learn the words in Korean, the meanings were given in English only. Here again I
Okay.
met
With
English
English.
came accidentally, it came again in my life. And then I but the good part is now I have to learn word by word, like every word in Korean in English, every word in Korean meaning in English. So gradually I started learning words. So when I learned to around 3000 words in Korean, I was able to learn 3000 words in English
Okay.
simultaneously. So gradually it happened. And then I got to know, now I able, after that, when I started reading anything in English, I was able
Mm-hmm.
to understand. Then I got to know that why I was not able to understand, because I didn't know the meanings of the words. And from there,
Okay.
when I got the meanings of the words in my dictionary, I started understanding what is written. Simultaneously, like, I was reading history of Korea, geography of Korea, literature
Mm-hmm.
of Korea, Korean literature. So I started understanding, and there the interest came.
Okay, so you started in your college with the help of Korean language, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
then why? I'm curious to know why did you pick Korean language?
Out of curiosity, I didn't know what to do,
Okay,
because
out
I
of
didn't want
curiosity.
to do anything in arts. That was clear. Like, always, the thing that was clear to me was like the I was clear about the things which I should not be following, but I wasn't sure what I should be following until I found this. Now I'm sure the YouTube, becoming a trainer, maybe
Mm-hmm.
personality development, or going to women empowerment, like this these are interconnected. Like, but earlier I was just sure about the things which I should not be doing.
Okay, that is also very interesting. So this was the
Hmm.
time you realized English is something you started learning through words, that too with the help of
Yeah.
Korean. And now,
Hmm.
next, when you realized it, you were not aware about words in English. Then what did you do next after that? How did you start your learning journey?
Absolutely. um, so once you start understanding anything, interest develops. Then you remember the
Okay.
thought, okay, I that triggered me, like when my physics teacher used to speak, I like that. So then it came into me also, like I want to sound more sophisticated, I want to speak English fluently. Because this is again one thing, like you, when you don't know English, you every now and then come across such situations where you have to face embarrassing moments. That was happening continuously during since school, it was continuously happening. But once you got the idea that now I'm able to understand,
Okay.
then I luckily in second year I got admission in JNU. So I gave the
Mm-hmm.
entrance examination in Korean itself. The interview was also in Korean. So that is why I was able to made it. So I got admission in JNU. There in JNU everybody speaks English. Everybody talks in English. Uh, in my, like when I was there in CUJ, when I got admission there first, I started graduation from there. So teachers with us used to communicate in Hindi too. Like they were teaching Korean and giving the translation in English.
In
Other
your
than that, they
college?
were, yes, other than that, the professors were talking in Hindi itself. But in JNU, I'm talking about CUJ from where I started my graduation.
Okay, okay.
Later in second
Mm-hmm.
year, I got admission in JNU. So in JNU, professors also talk only in English. Professors, students,
Mm-hmm.
classmates. So in my first year back in CUJ, classmates used to speak in Hindi again. In JNU, classmates, when we came here, I saw that classmates are also speaking in English. Great, super difficult for me to make great relationships with people. I wasn't able to make friends at all in JNU. It was the biggest thing I experienced there. It was always overwhelming for me and heartbreaking for me that I wanted to connect to a few people I liked very
Mm-hmm.
much, but I wasn't because of English. But the good part is that I got the environment, like the
Okay.
professors are speaking, the classmates are speaking not with me but each with each other, and professors are explaining everything in English. So I got to know that listening skills are somewhere able to help me again. The second thing I realized later, so I started listening practice
Mm-hmm.
after that. Gradually I was able to listen, I started listening, so I was able to understand everything, whatever the professor is saying, whatever the students are talking, but I wasn't able to speak. The speaking part is still missing.
Okay.
And for 2 years, if you are continuously with the same friends and they know that you are very weak at English, it's difficult to open your mouth in front of them and speak English, right? So it was difficult to start
Okay.
speaking in English in front of them in the same class with the same fellow
Mm-hmm.
classmates. It was difficult, so I wasn't able to make it again. So during college also I didn't speak. One day I remember I gave the presentation. I was assigned to give a presentation. I asked my professor to keep the notebook with myself and read from it. A little bit from PPT, a little bit from notebook. So like this, I managed to give the presentation. But at the end of it, my professor asked me a few meanings of the words, and then
Okay.
I forgot, like I wasn't able to give it. So the 40 students were looking at me, and then everybody knows that she doesn't know English. And then I wasn't able to speak at all. So during college also I wasn't able to speak, but I realized that listening helped me, and I incorporated the habit of listening later. And
Great.
then after graduation again, this came to me that like I didn't have the courage, to be honest, to give interviews. Like I did my graduation in Korean. Now people have this doubt that if you done everything in Korean, even there is a scope to get job in Korean. There are a lot of companies. Then
Mm-hmm.
why didn't you pursue your career in Korean? But I had a lot of fear to give interview, even face interview. I didn't give even a single interview in my life because of the fear. I admire people who are even at least have faced, at least have shown up there, but I didn't. I came back to home. I was lost,
Mm-hmm.
confused again what to do. And the thing was there again in mind to do something different, try something. Then I got
Okay.
to know, like, wherever you go, whatever you do, it ends with English only, and
Always.
somewhere English is the one. Yeah. So then but somebody suggested me to prepare for banking. I picked that. Then
Mm-hmm.
third practice came into my life, that is reading. While preparing for banking, I picked reading the Hindi newspaper. So one by one, all layers were like opening and
Unleashing.
coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So then reading came into my life. And before that, I never ever read anything like this, like reading books or reading newspaper. No, not even in Hindi, in any language. No, not ever. Apart from academic, nothing. So then I started reading the Hindi newspaper. I remember I should take name of her. That is Nimisha Bansal ma'am has helped me a lot. She teaches banking, and she
Mm-hmm.
teaches the Hindi newspaper over YouTube. So I started reading
Okay.
the Hindu with her. From there, I learned a lot of words again, and I started reading. From
Mm-hmm.
reading, but speaking is still missing. But later, after 2 years, I realized that banking is again not for me. Let me quit it. Let me try
Okay.
something new. I'm just like that. Then I thought to first master the language. Now I did already, I started understanding. I did the listening practice. I'm doing the reading. Now let's start
Okay.
speaking. Let me do this. Then I started taking a few sessions over 2 to 3 platforms, which you are aware of, right?
Okay.
From
Mm-hmm.
there,
Yes.
I started speaking a few things and I got feedback. And then I started working on feedback and gradually I improved. And later, then as my YouTube also, I started simultaneously the YouTube channel too. From there, people liked it and people started connecting to me. And on regular basis, I started speaking. And that's how I improved. It's a very long
Okay.
journey.
No, no,
Very,
it
very
is
long
really, really,
journey.
it is really interesting. And 80% I could relate to this journey. You shared moments of embarrassment. I was there once. In college, you shared one moment where some professor asked you to talk about something. Again,
Mm.
similar thing happened with me in front of around 50 students. That time, my professor asked me to write some spellings. I couldn't write at all. Okay, but now I feel that's okay. But then it
Mm.
was highly embarrassing. So you shared,
Yeah.
you unleashed it layer by layer. First words,
Mm.
then reading, then listening, now reading,
Then reading, then speaking game. Yeah.
speaking. Okay, so see, when we start learning, especially speaking part, we come across certain type of challenges, right? So challenges can be whether you don't have two types of challenges I feel, whether you don't have resources or you don't have environment or language related challenges. They can be maybe you were struggling a lot with vocabulary, sentence construction, or you were not able to think in English, you were translating. So these were
Mm.
some sort of challenges. These were some sort of challenges I faced. What were your challenges and how did you decide to work on them and how did you overcome? Now I'm interested to know that.
That's really interesting. And as you categorized in both different things,
Hmm.
I'm able to resonate. And yes, the environment problem, yes, I also faced, as you talked about the resources, but I don't think that resources, like, we don't have lack of resources. We have enough resources. When it comes to environment, I didn't have speaking environment.
Hmm.
Apart from that, listening, you can, like, I started listening from YouTube, so everybody has that. So I didn't face
Okay.
that. Reading, you can repick anything and you can read. So environment is in our hand. So like I already created that because I understood it. So I was every single day I was reading the Hindu for 1 hour, then revising words. So this was with me. Only speaking environment I didn't have. I remember once I was asking my siblings to just listen to me. They were not interested at all to listen English at all. So I faced that problem, and that
Hmm.
is again now it is solved because of technology. We are able to attend a few sessions with whoever we like or we admire as a trainer. So that's how, if you are eager, I feel eager and ready to master something, you will find ways. So this is how, like, you also found ways, right? I tried and then I joined platforms, and like this I found all the ways. When it comes to speaking itself and the problems I faced, I didn't know first, like, what are the mistakes I make while speaking. But to be honest, I never liked, even till now also, I don't like the conventional way of mastering grammatical patterns and all. But as I built my understanding because of the vocabulary, listening, and reading, then I understood that speaking also can be mastered like this. Now you have the understanding, start speaking. Gradually, you will get to know your mistakes and your problems, and then you can pick this the same manner, like by speaking a lot or by reading a lot. So when I started speaking, I had MTI issues first, and which I wasn't
TI
aware.
issue, what was that?
Mother tongue, mother
Okay,
tongue,
mother tongue influence.
MTI.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes. So then I got to know from the trainers, like, okay, I have to focus on a few certain pronunciations. Still, also, I have. And Then, in order to tackle that, I started a few practices were assigned or suggested, which is like tongue twister and shadowing. I tried
Mm-hmm.
both. I never liked tongue twisters. I liked shadowing. I still do that.
Okay.
This is one. This is how I tackled my MTI and pronunciation part.
Mm-hmm.
And the second problem I got to know, everybody knows when they open up their mouth and they start speaking, which is like, uh, we are missing SES forms, we are using did plus third form. These things I also got to know.
Okay.
So then the good part is that feedback was given with by the tutors, and then I worked accordingly. So I didn't master the patterns again in a conventional manner. I just focused more on reading part, because while speaking I
Mm-hmm.
was sometimes missing articles and prepositions too. So this is like, no matter how many times you read articles separately, the chapter of article or the preposition, you will
Mm-hmm.
not be able to use them appropriately while speaking until you have a proper command over it in order to use them effortlessly. So
Okay.
reading, I think the great thing I found when it comes to use properly the articles and prepositions. So from there, every practice, every pattern which I'm lacking, I keeping while keeping that in my mind, I did the reading consciously, that I have to focus on every preposition and
Mm-hmm.
article, how they are used in. So that's how I mastered all the grammatical patterns.
Okay. So there were a lot of challenges. Again, I think people who start learning, they kind of face these kind of problems. And when they get feedback, they start working on it. So I feel
Yeah.
when you start learning, there is no conventional method. Whatever you try, you check what is working for you, what is not working for you, and then you implement it. Right?
Yeah,
So these were your
absolutely.
challenges. So that's how you learned. Right? Now, see, you have experience. Now you are aware about technology. You have your personal experience. You have connected with thousands of people. You know their journey, your journey, right? If someone, especially this question I am asking in the context of someone who is starting now, if you had to start from zero now,
Mm.
what would you like to do differently?
Mm. Okay. I think when I started earlier, I wasn't aware of the methods which helped me. Now I am aware of all the things. So I think I would just, as I'm aware of all the practices, so I would just make a proper plan for 6 months, assigning myself a few practices there for a short period of time, not like I am assigning the practice of listening for 1 hour. No,
Mm-hmm.
that would definitely, over time it will be overwhelming for me if I'm starting from zero, right? So I would assign to just listen to something for 15 minutes.
Okay,
But
15 minutes a
after
day.
listening, yes, after listening to that 15 minutes, do not switch or move to the next video, no. Just watch that the same 15 minutes audio or
Mm-hmm.
video 3 times at least a day. Later, I will reduce, but I will prefer to repeat
Mm-hmm.
that same video thrice a week
Okay,
than
and
once a
what
week.
and why would you do that? What is the main reason for that?
In order to get it exactly the words, how the words are used, like you have to find the video or audio which is
Mm-hmm.
correct, the words are used in a correct manner, the sentence structures are correct, and you like to incorporate those things in your speaking. So when you are revising and repeating the same
Mm-hmm.
content again and again, I
Mm-hmm.
believe that's, goes into your subconscious mind. Like when we talk about speaking English effortlessly,
Okay.
then if that the one video you are watching and you are moving forward to the next and next, you will forget everything, you will not get anything, like you will not be able to remember for a longer period of time. So in order to save that in your subconscious mind and use later effortlessly while talking to people, you should, I
Mm-hmm.
believe you should repeat it. Now I'm aware of this thing, so I will do that. Similarly, with every other practices, I'll assign few things like baby steps for 1 to 2 months. Then I will
Okay.
assign a little tougher and little more time to give the same practices. Yeah.
Okay. So you said 6 months, right? First you will make plan for 6 months, then you will plan according to your activities. So you
Hmm.
prioritized listening a lot,
Hmm.
right? And how much time? First tell me, like, according to you, what duration is good enough for someone to reach at the level where they can speak comfortably? Right? 6 months, 4 months, or is there any time? and how much time people should give for speaking, listening, reading, according to your experience?
I feel like in order to reach the beginner level where you are able to communicate just with simple English, it requires 6 months. Because the level you want to achieve, like intermediate, advanced, that needs to, like, we need to spend 1 year at least with
1 year.
intensive practice itself. It's not like you are skipping your practices and then you are just procrastinating things. No, every single day you have to take a few steps, like baby steps. Every single day with consistency you have to practice. And with that level of practice every single day, still you need 1 year in order to achieve the level, I feel.
Do you feel
And
Mhm. people need to give 1 year at least to become comfortable with the language, right? They are able to speak
absolutely.
with others. Okay,
Yeah.
so this was about your journey. Now I want to talk about little bit on your YouTube journey. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what inspired you to start YouTube? Because in the starting, putting ourselves out, especially we are not comfortable with the language, it requires a lot
Hmm.
of like, strength. I feel personally when I started uploading videos, I had to do a lot of mental work. Still
Hmm.
do, but yes. So, what was that for you? What inspired you, and how YouTube has changed you as a person?
Hmm. Okay. When I started posting videos, yes, I wasn't comfortable with the language. I used to make a lot of mistakes in every sentence. There were a lot of mistakes and wasn't able to use words. But till then, I already made my mind कि जितनी बेइज्जती होनी थी हो चुकी already.
उससे ज्यादा
Now
क्या
what
होगी?
is, yeah, what if people judge?
ओके.
The people who are judging you over social media, you don't even know.
हम्म.
Even you were judged by people who you knew already, who were studying with you, your professors, your classmates, your seniors already did that. Now
हम्म.
it doesn't matter who is going to judge you. That was clear to my mind, no matter what people say.
हम्म.
I'll do this and one day I'll achieve. So this thought was clear to me. Then I never ever hesitate to post any of my videos till now. I started with the same level. Like I'm a beginner. I make mistakes. Just go with that itself, and I'll. And to be honest, the YouTube helped me to maintain consistency. Somewhere, if I
ओके.
wouldn't have started this, like uploading videos over YouTube, maybe I wouldn't have mastered the language. Like I wouldn't have achieved this level because of
हम्म.
YouTube. Somewhere there was a motivation to you, okay, you have to upload video, you have to practice, you have to do that. So somewhere I give this credit to YouTube also for always, motivating me and always helping me to maintain the consistency. As a like what how it has changed, yes, as you can see, my channel has grown a lot now. Like
Yes,
people are
yes, yes.
supporting.
100K
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah. So it has changed me a lot. It has given me the freedom, the first thing which I feel. Freedom to feel relaxed now. Like this gave me the final I think uh, by what we can say, to decide that this is for you, this is your field, this is what you are meant for. Earlier I was running here there, quitting this one, trying this one every time. So now this is clear. Like the clarity came into my life because of YouTube. If I also had only 5,000, 10,000 struggling YouTuber, then I would have again thought what to try, what to do next, what to do next, what, right? But I think now clarity came into my life, and personal growth is there.
Mm-hmm.
uh, my mindset has changed a lot, and great responsibility I feel now I have. As uh, I today itself I connected to Arti ji. She is a very very down to earth and a teacher in a government school. She is, I think, more than 50. So she is the senior citizen, I can say. And even the Sunita ji, she is a professor in a college. She is my student. They people appreciate me the way they see and the way I help them. Then they are like, that is my huge responsibility now to
Yes.
every day learn, every day grow, read a lot, and try and test different methods and tips which can help my students. So I feel more responsible now. And freedom, as I share that financially I'm feeling a little free now. Earlier it was always there in my mind, a huge tension in my mind, that where to go, how to make career. And like freedom in that case too, like I don't need to answer anyone, I don't need to follow anyone else's instructions. It is about me only.
Okay.
And the thing is that The main thing is that it's my passion and the thing which I enjoy the most. So 10 sessions I can take easily. Like while teaching my students, then when they give the feedback and when they grow in every session, this is my fuel again to take the next session. So everything is great now because of YouTube, I must say.
Okay, that's good. So it helped you to maintain consistency and you made your mind. And plus, now you feel appreciated. So you have decided this is a career path. Okay, I think I want to talk to you a lot, but we have 4 minutes left. So in the end, see, I loved this conversation till now, but finally, I want to understand if you have to give some advice to people who are learning, basic,
Mhm.
intermediate learner, advanced learner. So, what advice would you like to give them? What they should do and what they shouldn't do at all?
I think the thing which they shouldn't be doing at all is um, running behind the plethora of content which is making them confused, which is confusing them, I feel.
Okay, that's very
And
good.
because
Yes, yes.
of because of this, they are even confused and they are even not able to master the language in the manner they should be. And second, I found in student is just when they see YouTubers are growing and are speaking
Mm-hmm.
fluent English, they start comparing themselves with them. Oh, you started in 2022, now you are very good speaker, but remember when I exactly started in my first year, like
Mm-hmm.
when I started learning words. So my journey started from there. So they don't know that. They just compare with the current thing which I am speaking or which I am doing. Okay, you have done this, 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 and you. They ask me rightly, okay, how many hours do you study? Okay, you study 2 hours. I'll also study 2 hours. Will it be okay? I studied already for many, many hours. I used to
Mm-hmm.
listen to 12 hours a day, I remember,
Okay.
when I was doing the listening practice. So
Mm-hmm.
you should not compare. You don't know others' struggles. You don't know others, way how they have achieved that. So you have to just assess yourself. Think of your own journey. Think of about your own level, and according to that, just take steps. And without comparing with others, just compare yourself with the earlier one, and the like every single day. Just focus on increasing that 1% practice and achieving something from that. So these are the two
Okay.
things that you should not do at all. Other than that, I think the things you should be doing are already, I guess, shared by many people. That patiently, consistently, and you have to practice every day.
Okay. So these are some great points, and I strongly believe they would help them. So I think
Yeah,
our time is 1 minute, 30 minutes, seconds. So Rajni,
yeah,
it was again lovely connecting with you. And I hope many people who are watching this would be able to implement all the lessons and advice you gave. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. I hope you enjoyed
yeah.
it.
Absolutely. I just lived my journey again in just 40 minutes, like what actually happened, how actually started, and all. And then it helps me to then I reflect again, okay, this much time I took, and this is how I learned. So thank you so much for inviting me. It was really, really insightful conversation with you. And I hope the same that people will learn from it.